And I take a break from the election stuff to go back in time. Or as Huey Lewis and or one of the news would say, back in time, to a little shop somewhere in Delaware where the fella comes down here, Mr. MacIsaac, and he's paying a trip over to Fox News Digital. Hunter Biden laptop whistleblower speaks out on Fox News. Now, they've given him all of 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So clearly, it will be chock full of juicy tidbits and not just an excuse to use him and give him victim status as a way of boosting the illusion that the Hunter Biden laptop actually exists. And to remind everyone, John Paul MacIsaac cannot see 6 inches past his face. Almost, never mind. And he couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a laptop, couldn't pick the two quote-unquote FBI agents that came to his office out of a laptop. And even if they were real FBI agents, which I doubt, he lied to them about what he was keeping, because they said, we're going to need the laptop and everything. And he kept the hard drive for himself and made copies. Gorgeous. Ruining, by the way, the chain of evidence and making sure that nothing that ever shows up having anything to do with the Hunter Biden quote-unquote laptop is ever used in a court of law because of fruit of the poison tree and lack of an evidence chain. And it's fucking hilarious. For all the blathering about we're following the chain of evidence about ballots, this goofy bullshit is hilarious. So here we go. I want to hear what he has to say, and then we'll jump back. This is only a couple minutes.
That's when
Also, by the way, I don't know why this jumps in the middle of this fucking thing. Like, they just pick up half sentence in.
I guess when I describe in my book, American Injustice,
which, you know, I've got to get on tape.
My battle to expose the truth. I describe
my battle to expose the truth.
How it was just any other customer with a lot of disgusting stuff on his computer until
it was. So most of his customers have disgusting stuff on their computer.
His father announced his candidacy for president. And that's when I started to get nervous, because Hunter was in possession of a piece of paper that said that I was allowed to go through 3 of his laptops and recover data from them. And I just figured...
No, whoever posed as Hunter Biden that showed up at your office apparently has that.
It was a matter of time before the Biden fixer-upper service was going to swing by the shop, realize what I had seen, and taken care and disposed of the laptop, possibly disposed of me. So
get the fuck out of here. Holy shit, it's the Bidens, not the fucking Corleones. It's not Trump either. Who cares? Look, this asshole has literally dreamt up the Clinton body count and laid it over like, well, it's just a Democratic body count. Get the shit out of here. Nobody cares.
So that's kind of when my fears started to rise.
When you were watching the dirty stuff, I don't know if that feeling was fear.
As the summer progressed, after it became my property, and I realized that a lot of what was in the news pertaining to Hunter Biden and Burisma.
Also, by the way, I'd like to point out that allegedly, 2 of them were totally fucked, and then the third one was fucked, but he literally, allegedly anyways, according to his, his story has changed a bunch, but that he said, this one's damaged, but I can get the data off of it. The copy of the data is not your property. The data is not your property. The physical thing might be, because it's taking up space in your shop. But you can blank it and keep the physical thing. But that doesn't mean you own anything you find on it. And that's why I don't know why nobody is taking their shit to this asshole's shop anymore, because he's still working on that same 2011 Mac Pro that he's been working on for fucking years. What is taking so long? I'm picturing like me from 10 years ago going, dude, I dropped that thing off. It's mine now. What the fuck are you talking about? Give me my desktop back.
I had seen on the laptop. And what I had seen was a lot of money exchanging hands for what appeared to be a lot of favors from the State Department all the way up to the office of the vice president. So
no, he didn't.
So I knew that I needed to get this to the authorities for fear of my life, but also because this is the kind of corruption that needs to be exposed and be held accountable for. And it wasn't until later that.
So you called the FBI field office, or you went over there, you called the news and said, hey, I found this Hunter Biden laptop. I'm taking it over to the FBI today, and I want you guys to film me doing it, kind of like Blue Thunder, so that nothing happens to me. Oh, no, you didn't? You made multiple copies, and you contacted your dad, who contacted the FBI in upstate New York, allegedly, and then you called Rudy Giuliani's lawyer?
That I realized that, you know, that we should live in a country where a citizen should be able to go to the authorities without fear of retribution or retaliation.
You do. You did. Nothing happened to you, fucko. You're being interviewed on Fox Nation. This is a fucking fart air conspiracy fantasy you live in. Nobody cares. And again, fake laptop, never happened. Bullshit.
And that did not happen to me. And
what do you mean what didn't happen to you? That you couldn't go for fear of reprisal? No one can legislate your emotions, dumb fuck.
And now I'm on a quest to make sure that that doesn't happen. And in the book,
it didn't. Quest over. Congratulations. You've won the Legend of Zelda, the McHenry edition.
I hopefully show what happened to me, and it's a cautionary tale to be careful of your alphabet agencies and your mainstream and social media.
All right, edit. That was an edit. They cut off the top, whatever the fuck the question was, and then that was a hot edit. What did they cut out? Look at this.
Be careful of your alphabet agencies and your mainstream and social media. I'm also hoping.
He was getting into difficult legal areas. And also, your alphabet agencies, you mean FBI, CIA, DOJ, FEMA, KGB, CCP? What the fuck are you talking about?
Hoping that where on the left they tried to make an example of me. You know, I had the IRS audit me for $57 from 2016. I had my unemployment that I paid into with my business for 10 years denied for over a year until I had to write a letter to my governor. You know,
it's your own shop. And what happened after you wrote a letter to your governor? You got it? That's never happened to anyone before. No one got audited over $57.
Tax and
that's just garbage.
Jabs and an effort to keep me quiet.
Yes.
Pay up this $57 or you sleep with the fishes.
Yeah, that's why Hunter Biden set you up, because the IRS wanted $57.
All these efforts to make an example of me, I'd like to.
No one's making an example of you. You know who's making an example of John Paul MacIsaac? John Paul MacIsaac and Fox News. And Eric Bolling. Nobody cares. If he didn't bring himself up, nobody would. He could go back to having his shop and all that kind of shit, but he's selling a book.
To kind of turn that around, and I'd like to be an example for those that are in a.
Hal, where'd you find this nugget? This is on Fox News's. He's on Fox News Digital.
Similar situation, that have an opportunity to blow a whistle, that it's okay to trade your fear for courage. There's going to be at least half a nation that's going to stand behind you when you make that decision. That's a tricky one.
All right, they're cutting out the questions. Secondly, no. At least half the nation is not going to back you because you think you're a fucking whistleblower.
So I'm getting a little impatient with with expecting the Department of Justice to hold the Bidens accountable.
Yeah, okay, asshole. Thanks to you and Rudy Giuliani, it's never going to happen. Even if the laptop was real, which it isn't, and even if you actually copied all those files off of an actual laptop that wasn't manipulated before it was handed to you, which you didn't, even if all this was true, the sheer fact that your fantasy about living in some sort of, you know, your own version of a Mission Impossible fucking movie, has corrupted the chain of evidence on everything found on that fucking laptop to the point where it's useless in a court of law. All of it. Anything found from it will get thrown out. Even if it's tied to something else. It's just... It's your fucking fault. If Hunter Biden actually gets away with a crime, it is the fault of John Paul MacIsaac and Rudy Giuliani. It's their fault. Because Rudy Giuliani, even when he had the hard drive, was refusing to give it to the New York Post and others for months. And then when it didn't work, he still fucking hung on to multiple copies of it. And people don't even know which fucking copy they have. There is no, like, remember that moment when Matt Gaetz was like, I would like to enter the data from, you know, the Hunter Biden laptop into the thing. And they went to break and they came back and he's like, elements that are said to have been from the Hunter Biden laptop. And they're like, yeah, fine. Because it's useless. Even Matt Gaetz introducing that hard drive into the congressional record dirties the chain of evidence. These fuckers, I mean, can you imagine going, Your Honor, let's see, Your Honor, I have before me a knife that we present is the murder weapon. Now, we understand there are no stab wounds on the victim, but hear me out. This is the murder weapon. Well, it's not the murder weapon. It's a copy of the murder weapon. We 3D printed a copy of a knife that was somebody mailed me the 3D printing files for a knife that looks vaguely like this. I made a couple of changes to make it look scarier. And then we printed this out. And I would like to enter this into evidence as the murder weapon. But I would also like to stipulate that no one do any forensic testing on it because they will not find any DNA on it because it's a third-generation copy. And that would be prejudicial against the prosecution I'm trying to make, Your Honor. Like, that's where we are with this shit. That, honest to God, I mean, that is as strong an analogy as I can put forward for the Hunter Biden laptop, you know, bullshit hard drive nonsense. Garbage.
So a couple of weeks ago, we filed a new lawsuit, and we've included Hunter Biden and the campaign to elect Joe Biden in that lawsuit.
For what? Making you feel scared when you met with the fake FBI guys that Rudy's friends sent to you?
Again, I'm hoping to be a thorn in his side until there's some accountability.
Yeah, you are the thorn in the side of justice. If there's any accountability to be had, congratulations. You fucked the whole thing up.
And if the Justice Department wants to punt on this and Weiss in Delaware doesn't want to, wants to go soft. I didn't go to the FBI for a crackhead playing with a gun. I didn't go to the FBI for human trafficking because I really wasn't looking at porn.
I don't believe you. And by the way, you mean in relation to this, you weren't looking at porn? Maybe were you looking at porn? Have you ever looked at porn? Your Honor, he opened this line of questioning.
I went to the FBI because of a pay-for-play scheme being run out of the office of the vice president. That includes
that in tens of thousands of documents, you magically went to the emails that managed to survive from the busted laptop that supposedly make you think that that's what actually happened when it didn't. Bullshit.
Included government agencies and that's a concern for the nation, because from what I had seen on that laptop and the involvement that he had with these Chinese companies, especially Jackie Boy, his assistant, China had a copy of this laptop.
Dude, China helped make this laptop.
And they were probably leveraging it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, they're leveraging it. China has so much on Joe Biden that we are literally protecting Taiwan with force. We have Marines on the beach. We've sent 2 congressional delegations, one including the Speaker of the fucking House. And we are stiff-arming China everywhere. Do you think China is manipulating Joe Biden into the CHIPS Act? They've got so much blackmail on him that they went, unless you stop us from manufacturing the highest quality chips in the world and having access to them, we're going to release pictures of your son smoking in a bathtub. No one, I repeat, no one gives a fuck.
The Ukraine's had a copy, and ergo Russia had a copy, and all this.
And yet, nothing. If Russia had a copy, what are we suddenly giving in to Russia's demands? Again, first of all, you can't blackmail people with shit that's already come out. What are you going to do? Blackmail Kim Kardashian with her sex tape? You know what I mean? She built her fucking industry on it. The same thing is true of Joe Biden. If there's a there, if any of this shit was real, we wouldn't have gotten NATO together. We wouldn't have pushed back on Russia. They would have rolled through Kiev in a matter of days. We wouldn't have had him say, yeah, we're going to defend Taiwan with force. The CHIPS Act would have never been championed or put through. He'd have had to fucking veto the thing.
This is leverage. If it did not get exposed to at least law enforcement or our intelligence community on our end, and thank goodness now the American people, this would all have been leverage foreign powers would have had over the executive office. And
it was already out during the election. It didn't stop him from getting elected, and nobody cares.
Yeah, I was fearful that when Joe got elected, my life would be in danger. That's one reason why I left. I would just be a checkbox that needed to be checked and a line scribbled through.
Yeah, because Joe Biden ran on a serial killer ticket. Fuck you.
Because I knew what was on that laptop, and most likely.
No, you didn't. You thought something was on the laptop, and then other people told you what was on the laptop, and they scared you, namely Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, and then they added shit to it after you gave it back to them.
Likely China and Russia did as well.
Okay, again, yeah, China, that's the theme right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of the Hunter Biden laptop argument. China and Russia had blackmail material on the laptop, and because that stuff existed, they have control over Joe Biden, which is why we are currently helping Ukraine kick Russia's ass, and why we have told China we will defend Taiwan with force if they try to take it, and why we are eliminating high-quality chip manufacturing and even the ability to sell or implement chips on the higher-end stuff like satellite level supercomputer stuff to be even sold in China. If this is the case, if this is their idea of blackmail, it sounds like they're trying to blackmail him with a hand job. I don't understand what Biden ever has to fear. I don't want to threaten you, Mr. Vice President, but if you ever get into the White House and you don't do exactly what we say, and you fight us at all, we will sit back while you sanction our government into our economy into oblivion and hand us our ass by aiding Ukraine with military training and satellites. but don't push me. I honest to God, what the fuck? What is the argument here anymore? All of that, I mean, they're trying to float it, I guess, and I don't even know who was interviewing him. They don't even show who the fuck was interviewing him. I'd love to see the whole thing.